What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. Let's get into it, okay? Let's get into it. Here we are, dropping below half a cent at $0.0487, roughly 10 hours and 3 minutes left in the day here. And I'm not completely concerned about this, right? We've been kind of expecting to find support somewhere between this low and this low here. So the fact that we've dropped here, it's like there's a little bit of finally, here we are. Now, can we recover? Can we get moving? That's the question, right? Because if not, if we do see a lower low here, I would still go as far to say that that's not a problem. It's not ideal. We don't want a lower low. But as long as we maintain this kind of rounded bottom structure, I mean, maybe we do get a lower low, and maybe that rounded bottom structure can still prevail. But if we don't find support somewhere between here or slightly below there, if we don't find immediate and immaculate support to some degree, you know, some day like this, or you know, something like this, something that holds up, then we could be in trouble, and we might have to seriously consider talking about prices that are below 0.003. If that were the case. All right, so let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there. 1 hour time frame here, looking at this, obviously breaking down, volumes coming in. Seems like a legitimate move to me. Let's see. There's a gap up here. You can see it plain as day with your eyeballs, right? Closed here, opened here. There's a little gap right there. And if you open up here and you close here, that's your gap. That's how big your gap is. It's right there. Right there, right at that point. So I would assume that we do come up to fill that gap pretty soon. Doesn't mean we have to, but it wouldn't surprise me. Here we are coming all the way down. It's looking like we might actually fill this gap again, guys. Not financial advisor, not a financial advisor, but these gaps, they are relentless, regardless of what the charts say. They shouldn't be used as a solo defining point of your expectations, but just look at how well, you know, if you were bearish on the price action because of that gap at any of these points, you would have been right, actually. Just like maybe being bullish on this gap here might prove you right, but being bullish on this gap here doesn't mean that we're, you know, that could just be a lower high. That doesn't have to be, I don't know why that just happened. That doesn't have to be anything dramatic, right? Anyways, 1 hour time frame, looking at the indicators, bearish, 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 all bearish, all ways around. Let's look at this on a 4 hour time frame, and we'll use our Fibonacci retracement tool here from a low to a high, golden ratio. So we found support on the golden ratio. We were talking about this up here, that statistically speaking, if we were to go to the golden ratio, this is your first attempt, this is your second attempt. The second attempt likely does break through, and with that, we likely do go to the 786, 886 area. Now, this is the area that needs is the word I'm choosing because it's completely appropriate. This is the area that needs to hold if we don't want to go below this low. And if we don't want to go, if we go below that low, we'll be finding support at 0042, 422, or 00385. Looking at this on a daily time frame, that's where things get a little bit dicey, because here, while not ideal, nobody wants the price to go down there. It's still a higher low, and that still provides this rounded bottom kind of look. But here it doesn't, right? We get below this low here at 00453. The target area is one of three targets where only one is acceptable for a bullish nature. The other two would promote a bearish nature and likely send us to much lower prices. Okay. Inevitably. I don't see that happening because I do expect, you know, Goliath mainnet comes online. I think there's going to be some buy the hype, sell the news, price action shenanigans because of that. All that can be true, and we still don't see a higher high here. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities here that we're working with, but right now I'm maintaining the same stance that we've really been maintaining since December, which is that I think we're going through some type of rounded bottom. We've got this kind of W shape at the moment with this, you know, depending on how it all works out. We look at this on a weekly basis. You got this like little potential setup here. We'll see. It's not pretty, but it's like this, just more condensed, more squished together, right? But very, very similar kind of idea here. We'll see. Yes, Bitcoin's in a bear market, altcoins can still rally in a bear market, guys. Typically, altcoins actually see their blow off top finale finishes after Bitcoin's already been in a bear market for a month. Typically, that's what happens. We didn't get it this cycle, but I'm just saying it. We've been beaten up for a long time. Maybe this this pump is closer than a lot of people assume. Again, going lower from here is not a problem in itself. It just depends on how we do it. And I personally, what I'd like to see is wherever we find support, somewhere here or lower, probably a little bit lower, right? We probably go down to the specific number of 00479 comes to mind. 00467 comes to mind, that area. We go down here, we find support. What I'm looking for after that, end all, be all, it can't be anything less, is a higher high than this high here. If we can do that, man, and we get a higher low here, this rounded bottom looks really, really good. The bullish prospects are there. We can see a lower low and still have this rounded bottom. It still can happen, right? It'll just be more kind of drawn out. But the point remains the same. Regardless of where we find support, I want it to be quick when we find support and to get above this high, okay? Just because I want that doesn't mean it'll happen, but that's kind of the idea there. And that's what would get us very, very excited for OnyxCoin here. 4-hour time frame, bearish RSI, stochastics, MACD, it's all bearish. But, I mean, think about it like this. The last time that you were here in your RSI was here in your price. You're at a low point. The last time that you're here in your stochastics was here in your price. You were at a relative low point. And the time before that here, you're at a relative low point. Your MACD's crossing below the zero. That's not necessarily a good thing. I don't know. There's no positive way to spin this, maybe. I mean, your histograms are getting pretty low. You know, you're almost at the point where you'd expect to find support. There's a lot of, I would say right now, it's not quite 50-50. I would say that there's a better chance that we find support above this low than there is that we go below the low, but there's still a pretty solid chance that we could go below the low. I mean, like if I had to weigh it out, again, it's not 50-50, but maybe like 70-30, 60-40. It's still somewhat close, right? There's still a solid chance we could go below this low. But at this point, I still believe the statistical probability, and the reason why I'm sticking with this call is because of that, is that we're going to see a higher low here. Wherever it is, and again, potentially, probably, most likely, at this 00479 to 00467 area. From here, the quicker that we find support here and specifically get above 005 again, would look really, really good the quicker we do that, if that's a quick reaction. But again, ultimately, I don't care what we're doing down here, how it looks. It doesn't matter until we get a higher high here, okay? Until then, we're curious as to what happens next. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? I don't really have anything else that I want to say. Let's look at the XCN BTC chart. Oh, right. They got rid of it on KuCoin, which is so weird. BTC USD on Coinbase, sure. XCN USD on the same thing, sure. We can do that, yeah. Let's do that. Weekly time frame. Not a whole lot to go off of there. Daily. What about the 3-day? We don't always look at the 3-day. 3-day looks somewhat bullish. The daily looks a little bit bearish. A little bit though. Nothing too crazy, man. Nothing too. I mean, like you really think about it, we've got some gaps up here on a daily time frame. Stochastics are reset. The MACD actually looks like it's kind of in a good posturing here. I don't know. I don't mind this chart at all. We're like talking about a rounding bottom, you guys. Like, it's not. I wouldn't call this a rounded bottom because it's too short. It's too small. We're on the daily time. I mean, sure, it could be. It could round out like that, but I don't know. I guess this looks like a rounded bottom. It's about the same amount of time. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just not being fair. I don't know. I guess it kind of looks like a rounded bottom, but if it is a rounded bottom, we don't want to go down too much lower, is all I can say. What about the fibs? Load high. This is OnyxCoin priced in Bitcoin. That's why it's so many zeros, because OnyxCoin is worth less than half a cent. Bitcoin's worth tens of thousands of dollars, right? It's going to be very, very small fractions here. Getting held down by the golden ratio. I don't like that. This would typically symbolize the idea. You know, the weird thing, though, is you found resistance once, twice, 3 times, 4 times at the golden ratio. Sure, maybe you come down a little bit, but I still think you're going to come back up. I think there is something fierce brewing here on the Bitcoin chart, and again, that gives me a lot of confidence that we don't see a lower low relative to this. But time will tell, my friends. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye bye.